Hello everyone and welcome back to my Fnaf Fangame in Gamemaker tutorial part 5. I got some good comments on my last video about what you guys would like for the next tutorials. And something that I realized is that the sound effects, I haven't actually put those in. And sound effects are a very large part of Five Nights at Freddy's, of course. And so today I wanted to cover how you can add sound effects to your game. I know I also got a number of comments about hopefully adding more features or adding more FNAF features to the game. We will see how that goes later on. I'm hoping that just from the tutorials and just from the way I have this set up, you'll be able to piece together some things to allow you to create that kind of stuff for yourself. But if you still want that, please comment below and tell me what features specifically you'd like to add. So for today, we're going to go over how sound effects work. And I'm going to show you how you can add them into your game. So we're going to implement these sound effects here. This blip sound effect, the scary breathing sound effect, and the very loud scream sound effect. And my resource pack on itch.io is going to be updated so that these sound effects are available for you. So if you need these sound effects, go ahead and re-download it from my itch.io as you did before. So first to start off, we're going to go over here to obj_game. Double click on that to bring it up. And then for the very first sound effect we're going to do, so this is the code we have set up for checking if you're clicking on a button. So all of this stuff should already be in your project from a previous tutorial. Now this right here is what we're going to change. So as you can see in this if statement of clicking on a button, we're going to go in and we're going to add this line of code right here. Audio plays sound. If you hover over it, you can see a little bit of the manual. This function plays any sound asset in your game. That's perfect. So basically what we're going to do is this is the sound ID to play. This is priority. I'm not entirely sure what priority means. I'm not going to lie. But I think it basically mutes sounds that have a lower priority. I'm not 100% certain on that though, so feel free to look at the manual if you want to figure out what priority does. And then loops. So if this was like a background music in another game that we want it to play all of the time, then basically what we would do is we would set this to false, this to true, and as soon as this sound effect is done playing, it'll immediately play the same sound effect again. So the sound effects will always be looping. But we don't want that right now. We just want it to play once, right? So as long as we have this line of code in our game in this place in our obj game, in this if statement, every time we click on a button to change cameras, we are going to hear this sound. And let me show you something else about sound. So I call this sfx_blip select. So if we go here, now here we can actually see this sound resources in Gamemaker. So we can play it. Did you hear that? So that's what we're going to hear every time we click on a button. So if we go ahead and run the game now, alright, perfect. So if we open up our cameras and then we click, perfect. That runs perfectly. Alright, that's excellent. So that's how we added this blip select sound effect to our game. Alright, so just as an aside here, you're probably going to want to put in more sound effects than what I currently have right here. And we're going to go over some later. But I want to just get over some rookie mistakes out of the way. So one thing I see that's very common for new developers to do is to do something like this. So like, see how this is the step event? Somebody will say, audio plays sound just in here, right? Well, if we run the game, we're going to see something very disturbing. Well, we're going to hear something very disturbing. Do you hear that? Sorry, headphone users, that was probably really loud. But basically, why this happens is this is running 60 times every frame. So that means this code right here, just because it's in step event, is playing the sound 60 times per second. That's a lot. And so that's why that sound effect happens. So whenever you're playing audio like this, you have to keep in mind that you only want to play it once. The reason we don't have this effect here, like you may be thinking like, oh, like this is the same code as here, so why aren't we hearing this all the time? Well, this only runs when we click on a button. So mouse check button pressed. This function, this is only true on one frame. So that means this will only play on one frame. So if you go on after this tutorial to add more sound effects, keep in mind to make absolutely sure that your audio play sound is only running once per frame. Alright, let's go over how to add the scary breathing effects. So let's find that in my code over here. Perfect. So I don't know if you played the original game I made for this, but basically how it works is if a homunculus enters the left hall or the right hall, you're going to hear scary breathing as an audio sting to alert the player, hey, there is an enemy within the hall. Alright, perfect. So for this next part, we're going to add in the breathing sounds that are present in my version of the game. Where basically if an enemy gets into the halls, then you will hear a breathing sound effect to alert you that there's danger nearby. So here's how we're going to do that. We're going to make all this code right here. So let's step through what it does. This is going to play the homunculus sounds. So first, we're going to loop through all of the homunculi. And we're going to check each one. This is very basic stuff. We've done it a lot of times in the tutorial. Next, we're going to check its position. So we're going to ask the homunculus, okay, is your position in the left hall or is your position in the right hall? And after we have done that, we're going to play the scary breathing sound. As you can see, it's basically set up the same way we have the blip select set up. This is also in our OBJ game step event, by the way. And we added this line of code here. So remember what I was saying where you have to be careful that code is only run once? Well, basically how this works is scary breathing will only play if scary breathing is not already playing. So this checks if audio is playing scary breathing, and this turns it into not. So if audio is not playing scary breathing, then play the scary breathing audio. And then this will basically make it so that whenever an enemy goes into the hallways, you'll be able to hear them. So that's how that works. Very, very simple stuff. And then the problem here is that this sound effect is very, very long. So we want to stop this sound effect when we zap the homunculus out. So we're going to go ahead and do that down here. So let's go back to the shock button part that we did in the last tutorial. So as you can see, here's our shock buttons, blah, 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 mouse check button left. And then we're going to add this piece of code right here. So this is going to be the zap sound effect. So basically, we're first going to check. So basically what this does is this checks if we pushed the button for zapping the homunculus. And if we have, then we're going to generate the zap sound effect to indicate to the player, oh, you managed to zap one. And we're going to check if the scary breathing is playing. And if it is, we're going to stop that sound. So see how this is audio stop sound? So we're going to do all of this, and then this is only for the left hall. So for the right hall, we need to go down and we need to do the exact same thing, exact same code, copied and pasted from there above. And so now, if we run our game, we should be able to see this is going to take a little bit while. This is going to take a little while until one of them comes down towards us. Alright, so she just went into the right hall. As we can see, we can hear the sound, and now if we hit the button, perfect. So the zap sound effect plays, and the scary breathing stops. So that's perfect. So as you can see, all of that stuff is all done. And then let's add in the sound effect very loud scream. So we need to go to where the player loses the game. Alright, perfect. So we're going to go back to our obj_game and we're going to go to create. And if you remember, we set up a lose game function before. So we're going to go here, and all of this code is here. And basically what we're going to do here is we're going to go in and we're going to add this line of code right here. So what this does is two things. We don't need that part. So first we're going to stop the scary breathing. That part is important. So if audio is playing, audio stop sound, SFX scary breathing. Easy as that. Same exact thing that we've always seen. And then what we're going to do is, if the very loud scream sound effect is not playing, then we're going to play the sound SFX very loud scream. And I put the priority as 20. I don't think that really changes anything. But these two if statements should be all we need in order to play all those sounds. So if we're going to go, let's go ahead and test all of the things that we added. So if we hit run, perfect. So that screen works out and everything's good to go. So, yep, that's all that I have for today. We have the very loud scream, we have the breathing, and hopefully you know a little bit for yourself how to stop sounds, how to play sounds, and how to make sure that they don't play in very annoying ways. I've been the Great Gatsby. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please leave a like and comment below what you would like to see in future videos. And have a lovely evening, old sport.